What is up, Envoys? And I have a Hydroid Prime build for you guys. And as always, we will start with the Archon Shards, which, if you've already seen, is 4 green Tau Forced with 15% ability damage on enemies affected by corrosive. I know this is a little bit expensive as they are green, so they require 2 shards to fuse together to make them. If you don't have access to these, red is perfectly fine for strength. I just prefer the ability damage. It is a big damage increase. And then casting speed, Tau Forged Shard. This is up to taste as well. I just prefer casting my abilities faster. Now moving on to the build itself. For the aura, we are using Brief Respite. You could use Growing Power, but I do like to have some shield gaining as a backup plan. Then we have Prime Sure-Footed, so we don't get knocked down. If you don't have Prime Sure-Footed yet, regular Sure-Footed is fine. Power Drift is also very good. Is put whatever you have available here, as I know a lot of people don't have Prime Sure-Footed yet. Moving on to the rest of the build, we have Continuity for some ability duration, Rolling Guard to help us with defenses, especially against Toxin XMI, because that kills everybody, and I just prefer Rolling Guard sometimes over Adaptation. Equilibrium, so that way we get more health and more energy from literally everything. Viral Tempest is our augment, so our Tempest Barrage will do viral. Archon Stretch for more range and more energy gain, as we are using the Diriga. I won't go over the build. At this point, everyone has a Diriga build. Umbral Fiber and Umbral Intensify for some starting armor and strength. Because we are using Arcane Battery to give us a lot of energy. Yes, you could stop using Umbral Fiber and just start with, as you can see here, 312. 312 is not very comfortable to use, so I would prefer to just, have some nice starting armor to get yourself going. If you don't want to use this, this is also the slot that I would replace if I'm with others for Pilfering Swarm, as when I'm normally by myself, I could give 2 shits about loot. So there is that. And then Blind Rage for some more strength and negative on the ability efficiency. And then finally, we are using Molt Augmented. Getting our strength up really high is extremely nice. And as a final note, I am using Nourish as my Helminth ability over my 2. I don't really like his 2. I prefer to stay in one spot anyways. If you don't want to use this, Roar is a good choice. Eclipse, anything you want to put here. I'm mostly using this for the energy gain and making sure literally everybody is affected with viral. As yes, Tempest Barrage with the augment does do viral, but it's only in a 10-meter radius. So enemies shooting outside of that will now also get viral stacks, which is extremely nice. So moving on to the weapons, the first one we have here is the Boltor Prime. It does have an Incarnon, so we will be using that. Going over the evolutions really quick, base damage +2 and 20% ammo efficiency for 5 seconds on kill, and then stacks up to 3 times. Really nice to just spray and pray essentially with this. The next one is projectile speed. This is more up to a taste. You can pick one of the others if you so choose. And then finally, base critical chance by 14% because we want to bump that crit chance up. The build itself is your run-of-the-mill chamber and aptitude, critical lay, and vital sense. For our multi-shot, status chance, crit damage. Prime Shred for some punch through and fire rate. If you don't have this, regular Shred is perfectly fine as well. Then we will be using Hellfire for some heat. Hunter Munitions for the application of status effects when we crit chance. Or sorry, when we crit. I don't know why I said crit chance. Which we will always be doing because in our base we are doing 123%. And then in the Incarnon it's... And then for the final mod, other than Stabilizer, because this is up to taste, if you don't have this Boltor Riven, you could always put in whatever you want. I would say put a Bane mod in, but again, I know that's a pain in the ass. Truthfully, maybe Serration replace Primary Merciless with Crux, or do Toxin instead of Heat and just get more crit damage on this thing. It's up to you. Moving on to the next one, this is going to be, you're going to look at this and be like, why are you using the twin Kohmak? That weapon's terrible. You would be right if this was before 1999. Secondary Innervate is a very, very good arcane and has made several weapons very good. And I will show it off here in a second once we get to that point. But as usual, we have shot and diffusion. We are not using crit chance or critical delay or anything like that because secondary innervate benefits from low crit chance, which is what we're going to be doing. We do have prime target cracker on here for that crit damage, so that way when we do crit, it's nice and big. Jolt and Pistol Pestilence for some corrosive, and then we do have magnetic for that extra crit damage, Hornet Strike for just your base damage, and primed ammo mutation for conversion of ammo, because these things are very ammo hungry. If you don't have a Riven, again, as always, put what you want here. Put heated charge, put more damage on here, essentially. And then for the melee, this is just up to my taste. I am using a Zaw that uses Exodia Contagion. Unfortunately, I don't have access to Plague parts because DE refuses to bring Plague Star back. I do have some old versions of them, but they were made when I was MR10 and fucking stupid. As you can see here, these are the parts that I'm using for this particular Zaw. I don't really want to go over the entire build because it's not even fully built out yet, but it does do a lot of damage. This is the build. Copied if you so choose. Really fun to use Exodia Contagion and whatnot. And then as always, this is the Diriga. If you don't have one, I would recommend getting it. This is what we use to proc Archon Stretch. Here's the build. Again, I really won't go over it. I go over it all the time because this is just a really nice combo to have. Moving on to the Simulacrum Test. I won't be really showing off any of the abilities as you do need to do some build up and mission, and that's really hard to do here in the Simulacrum. So we're just going to show off the weapons real quick. First off, the Boltor, as you can see, as you're going to get some kills here before it starts doing its thing. Let's switch to the Incarnon and just start deleting. It'd actually help if I aim for the head. And there you go. Now onto the twin Kohmak. I promise you these are actually really fun to use once they get going. But as you can see here, as I will start shooting, see? Just aim down our sights and start, and the reload is kind of terrible, but what weapons? And there we go. Just hold down and they are deleted. As always, after this, we have the solo steel path run so you can see the build in action. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and until next time, guys, bye!
say